Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Monique Macrin, and if you're new here, thank you very much for clicking on this video. I hope that you're going to like it. So I basically make videos about my life, my family, etc. But I want to disrupt normal programming and post about breastfeeding because we've been celebrating World Breastfeeding Month, and a part of my day-to-day work comprises of helping women with breastfeeding. So these means are helping initiate breastfeeding. I help them address the challenges such as bleeding nipples, cracked nipples, sore nipples, painful breastfeeding, clicking sounds when breastfeeding, issues with milk supply, etc. Yeah. So I was thinking, it's World Breastfeeding Month, right? So it makes a lot of sense if we can put short videos of breastfeeding every day up until Sunday. Then after Sunday, we go back to our normal videos. Okay. So if you're someone who loves to see lifestyle content, please don't leave after this video. Subscribe, like, and stay tuned for more. So here I have a few items that you're gonna see me using throughout this series. This is my breast, okay? At some point it will feature. So this is something very interesting, and this is what you're going to talk about in tomorrow's videos. You really don't want to miss, because this is going to make sure that you don't stress about breastfeeding the first few days of your baby's life. And of course, here is our baby. So we will use this baby to teach you the correct way to position your baby for a better latch. Now, before we start this video, I want to let you know that if you're 16 weeks pregnant moving upwards, you already have your colostrum with you. Your body starts making milk from 16 weeks of pregnancy. So once you go to the hospital, majority of the women, that is like 99% of women, already have their milk with them. So when we are saying that you don't have milk the first few days, it's not entirely true. What you're talking about is a letdown of that milk has delayed kidogo. And it's very common for this milk to take a bit of time, like the letdown to take a bit of time. Sometimes it can be a few hours, sometimes it can be a few days, but we only get worried if the milk does not come down after 5 days. So for a new mom watching this video, or a mom who has experienced this before and maybe they felt it's their fault or they felt incompetent, I want to let you know that we have so many women who go to the hospital, they deliver very well, baby is safe, mom is safe, but the milk takes time to come down. Remember what I said, the milk is there. What we are waiting for is a letdown. Okay, so now we've addressed that and we've managed your expectations. Now let's talk about when do you initiate breastfeeding, okay? Or rather, when do we bring the baby to the breast? We want to bring the baby to the breast within the first 1 hour of your baby's life. We call this the golden hour. So during the golden hour, there are few things that we really want to do. Number one, baby is very alert in terms of their suckle reflex, okay? So they tend to latch very well, and that really minimizes issues of latching moving forward. The other thing is that we want to send a signal to the brain telling it baby is here and baby is ready to suckle, so please bring the milk down. Of course, once the placenta is removed, the prolactin, which is the hormone for making breast milk, will have risen and favored you. But then again, we also need a hormone called oxytocin to let that milk come down. And bringing the baby to the breast as soon as possible helps us with that. Okay, so you can, yeah. So we want, because of that one reason, we want to initiate breastfeeding as soon as possible. The other thing is that this baby has been in your womb for 9 months. The temperature has been constant, they've been listening to your heartbeat, the sound of your intestines, and then all of a sudden they've been born to this world that feels cold, like voices of strangers, the sounds of the machine. So most babies tend to be a bit like, okuniwapi guys, where is this? So when you bring baby to breastfeed, it also means you're establishing skin to skin contact with your mother. By doing so, you regulate this baby's blood sugar and temperature, and that can really affect the birth outcome of your baby, because they're not using a lot of energy to adjust to the external environment, because you brought them to somewhere very familiar. Okay, so that is another reason why we want to initiate breastfeeding. Another reason that we want to initiate breastfeeding is because your baby tends to be awake for the first 40 to 60 minutes of their life. Yeah, then after that they can go into a very deep sleep, and it's not easy waking them up. So you want to take advantage of that time to establish breastfeeding. Okay, so this can apply for both a vaginal delivery or a cesarean section. Okay, so at the hospital nowadays, we are noticing a lot of moms will come to the hospital after CS. They don't want to start breastfeeding immediately because they feel tired and sometimes they are in pain. Granted, it can be very painful. I'm a mom. My first one was a vaginal delivery. My second one was a cesarean section. So I know it's very painful, and you're tired, you're overstimulated, and sometimes we are giving our babies to the nurses for the nurses to take care of your baby as you rest. But I want to implore you, instead of doing that, how about you initiate breastfeeding? Baby's gonna suckle for like 15 minutes. Then after they start with their first feed, then you can give them to someone to take care of them. And then you tell them, bring the baby back to me for breastfeeding every 3 hours, because apart from benefiting the baby, you are also going to be protecting yourself from something like postpartum hemorrhage. Once the baby starts breastfeeding, then the body brings down oxytocin, which is supposed to allow the milk to flow, but at the same time, it helps your uterus contract, getting back to position, and also helping you prevent postpartum hemorrhage. So postpartum hemorrhage is that bleeding after delivery, which can be very fatal. Okay, so you see why it's very important for us to start breastfeeding within the first 1 hour. So yeah, we are going to be tired, we're going to be overstimulated, and sometimes you're going to be in pain. But it's going to be only 10 to 15 minutes of your that postpartum period, which can immensely affect the outcome of your baby and also yourself postpartum. Okay, so in the next video, we are going to talk about how much milk should you have during the first few days of your baby's life, and how often should you breastfeed the baby. So you can ask any question that you have in the comment section. If you feel like you're going to enjoy this series, please tag another mom along, share my videos. I really appreciate. Until the next one, bye.